about to get started in 1 minute. Y'all like this song, so we'll start in like 1 minute, all right? Give me 1 minute and we will be getting started. They had a good old plantation celebration today, or this weekend. They had a good old plantation celebration this weekend, boy, with the White House. What's up, y'all? It is a Queen of Diamonds week. For those of you on the Patreon card reading level, you got your weekly forecast today. On this Queen of Diamonds week. If you want it, you got to be on the Patreon card reading circle. I know I've been neglecting y'all a little bit, but yeah, these are coming every week now. These once a week card of the week readings up right now on Patreon. I will tell y'all this, the Queen of Diamonds is the master of business. So get your business in order this week. With this week being the Queen of Diamonds, my free advice to everybody is to get your business in order. If you have any business you've been slowing down on, being lackadaisical, being lazy about, make sure before we get into this show, I want to make sure to announce to all y'all, or at least just tell all of you guys that make this the week you get that you close them loose ends. You finish that shit you started. And if you started anything this week, make sure you finish it this week. That's what this week is. That's the theme of this week. This Queen of Diamond week. The 38th week of this year. 38th week of the year. 38th card in the deck. The Queen of Diamonds. Finish your shit. All right? So let's get into it. Man, let me turn my fan on. Fuck this. Whee! Whee! Turn my fan on. There we go. So let's get into it. Betraying Black America. This past weekend was a... Come on, light turn, bitch. There we go. This past weekend was a... Let me turn the music down some. This past weekend on the White House lawn, they had a plantation celebration. Oh, also, yeah, thank you, Isaiah Edwards. How did I almost forget? Rest in peace, Tito Jackson. Oh, that hurt. Shit, that hurt. Tito's gone. Only 70 years old. 71. 70 years old. Because his birthday hasn't come yet. But he was born in 1953. Man, Tito the same age as my dad. So that kind of hurt, I've seen Tito Jackson a few years ago. He came out playing, he had a blues album that he released. And he came out and he played it at the Jazz on Drew and Watts. And one hell of a guitar player, one hell of a dancer, one hell of a musician, singer, songwriter, Tito Jackson. One thing I've always liked Tito and all the Jacksons because You know, what happens oftentimes is, and unfortunately too often, the family people like to compare the family members and compare everybody to Michael. Look, there's only one Michael Jackson, only one. There are no more Michael Jacksons, just one. But for Tito, Jermaine, all of the brothers to be up on that stage with him, complimenting what Michael Jackson did, it shows how great they are in and of themselves. The Jackson Five, later known as the Jacksons, they, if you think about how great they are as a family, you have five brothers that went out there and they competed during the most fierce competition in music history, the the 1970s. The 1970s, if you think about the Jackson Five, they had to compete in their own record label, by the way, at their own record label in order to get something out. They had to compete in production with the Temptations, the Four Tops, you know. And then when you go outside of Motown, this is during the era of the Isley Brothers when they were on the top. Well, think about it. The Jackson Five was at the top when the Isley Brothers was out there, the Dramatics, the Spinners, the Manhattans, the Shy Lights, the Stylistics, the Blue Magic. I mean, you go down the list of doo-wop groups that were singing, and the Jacksons found a way to stay right there in that era. You had New Birth. I mean, you could just go down the line of musical groups back then. You know, on top of groups, you know, you had on the women's side, you had the Supremes that were still out. You know, you had a lot of groups that were out back then. Emotions, singing groups. You know, you had on their label mates, the Commodores. You had all of these groups that were out, along with the solo acts, Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson. I mean, Al Green. You go down the list, and then you go to the bands: Earth and the Fire, Parliament Funkadelic, Confunction, Cameo, Gap Band, Rick James. All these people are out during that time of the Jackson Five. And this is also during a time you had those white crossover acts trying to be like the Jacksons, the Osmonds. You had the Carpenters, that was a white group. You had Cher, and you had and Sonny. You had so much music to compete with during a time you couldn't just download an album. During the time you couldn't just download a song. You had to walk outside and purchase tickets. And to the concert. You had to walk outside and purchase those albums. And the Jackson Five, later on the Jacksons, they thrived through that. They got to compete against the OJs, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I mean, this isn't today where it's one or two pop acts, and then it's basically three or four people. In today's world, you only got three or four acts right now competing for number one, and there are no groups. Think about it. When's the last time you seen a new black singing group? Think about it. What, Next was the last new group? You know, he had to compete against LTD, the Moments, the Ohio Players. There's just so many groups that were out back then. And they competed, and they did it well. Tito played the guitar. He sang harmony. It was funny. Not funny, but just this past Saturday was my father-in-law's birthday, Mr. James Carmichael. He just turned 83. Happy birthday, Mr. Carmichael. And we were just talking stories about his Michael Jackson, his Jackson 5 days when he produced the Jacksons. We were just talking this past Saturday. He was giving me some stories about producing the Jacksons. And he was giving me a story about when they did Dancing Machine. He was telling me a story about the song Dancing Machine when they were recording it. And he was just like, they were some fun brothers. They were fun. They'd be in school all day. And then when they would come, they would joke around. Dancing, dancing, dancing. He gave me let me go to a particular part in the song that he was talking about when they were acting silly.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me see. Hear the background? Hear the background? Ooh bop, boo bop. Boo bop, boo bop. Boo bop. She's a dynamite attraction. At the top of a coin, she goes la. Well, Mr. Carmichael, that was his vocal. The whole song was his vocal arrangement. So he said he was in the studio with all Jacksons, all the brothers are there. They used to record from 3 to 6 every day because California labor laws wouldn't allow the Motown to record the boys more than 3 hours a day on a school day. And so he was telling me that, when they were trying to record that part, ooh, bop, doo, bop, this part, that background layer. Yeah, she knows what you hear how them brothers sound like one voice? 5 voices sounding like one voice. He said that particular recording section was actually tough for them to get through because, like, Michael was bored. So every time they would get into singing some notes, Michael was good at elbowing somebody, or he would do something to throw somebody's vocals off. And mind you, this is back in the day when they're recording on tape. They couldn't just go back and put everything cost back. It was way more expensive to record back then than it is now. And he was like, we could not get to that part without Michael doing practical jokes. He said he was with Jermaine, Tito, and the boys, rest of the boys, recording that part. And Michael, since he wasn't recording on that part, kept coming in and disrupting the session. And he said basically, because Joe wouldn't be there when they would be recording, Joe would just drop him off and go do whatever the hell he was doing. Joe was very rarely around while they were recording. But he was like, he knew that he could depend on Tito and Jermaine to keep Michael in line because Michael was a kid. Michael was alone, like on some hand, Michael being the loner that he is, off on his own, when he would get out of that spell, he would always be joking around. And it was Tito that he could depend on to keep the recording sessions in line when Joe wasn't there, when Michael felt like acting like an asshole. We was just talking that story this past Saturday. And so, and then like for me personally, salute to Taj Jackson, man. Taj is one of the Tito's oldest son. We talked on the phone not recently, about a year ago, and Taj was like, this is why I say y'all gotta jump on things. Well, not y'all, I'm speaking to me. Jump on things when they come up, because I asked Taj if it's okay that I interview Tito for my documentary. And Taj said, sure, let's just coordinate a time when my dad's not on the road. At the time, his dad was on the road. And because I've just been so busy, I didn't get around. I thought I had more time. I never circled back with Taj on interviewing Tito. And God damn it! Shit! And you gotta jump on shit, people, man. You gotta jump on stuff when it's there. So these music guys that we have, these legends that we have, they will not be around forever. So when they're here, let's love them, let's celebrate them, and man, rest in peace, Tito Jackson. One of the great musicians we've ever noticed, we've ever been around and bought records from. And damn, rest in peace, Tito Jackson. So yeah, that's what we hear, bro. So we're about to get into it on this past weekend's plantation celebration. And yes, for my ignorant ass chat room, this is an AI picture. AI generated these pictures. These are not real pictures of Joe Biden handing out money to the women of the CBC. This is not real pictures of them bowing down. But it is an image of how these niggas was acting this past weekend. It illustrates this past weekend's plantation celebration at the White House. Um, and so what we gonna do is we gonna play some. Let's first off talk about what happened. What am I talking about? Well, this past weekend was a whole ass plantation celebration, and it started with a White House event celebrating Black excellence. They had an event. It's like yeah, brother love. I saw you in the chat. You was looking like that. Better not be. My Lord, please forgive my chat room. These are some ignorant ass niggas in this chat room. So, but God, you made these niggas. So, oh, I got my call. Okay, he's calling this. Dr. Short, hold on one second, Dr. Short.
Yeah.
What was I'm still just setting it up. Give me like 1 minute. So
Okay.
that's Dr. Short calling in. What we about to talk about today is this past weekend. I'm so glad Dr. Short had time. He only has a brief moment to call in and talk to us about this past weekend. Tomorrow on Patreon, Dr. Short and I are gonna go all the way in. All right. But this past weekend was an event by the White House hosting Black excellence and talking about Black excellence. And in the Black excellence program, they talked about Haitian immigrants. They talk about Africans, and they talk about basically almost everything but Black Americans. So what we're gonna do after we finish talking to Dr. Short, we're going to go through different timestamps that I marked in this speech and talk about it. We're also going to talk about this other event that happened at the White House at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation's Phoenix Awards. Biden and Kamala was there, and Kamala had she had a new fresh accent for all of us to listen to, and so we're gonna break all that down. But first, I have Dr. Short on the line, and Dr. Short, before I get into talking about this past weekend, I just gave a rest in peace to Tito Jackson of the Jackson 5. And I know the Jackson 5 and Motown means a lot to you. So before I get all the way into this, Dr. Short, can you give us some words on Tito Jackson, the Jacksons, and what the Jacksons meant to you in Black America?
Well, there wouldn't have been a Jackson 5 were it not for Tito snatching his father's guitar and breaking a string on it. That's how this came. It wasn't Michael. It wasn't Jackie. It wasn't Marlon. It wasn't Johnny Jackson, their first drummer. It wasn't Randy Jackson. It was Tito. Tito, who was accomplished as a blues musician. It was Tito, and that's when the guitar got busted up, and they had them sing. The father, Joe Jackson, realized all of his children had natural harmony, but it came with Tito getting his ass whooping and breaking a guitar string. Again, there would be no Jackson 5, no Michael Jackson, were it not for the precocity of Tito as a young kid that just wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, he made a major contribution. And what's interesting is that even early on, Tito was good enough to play on the recordings that they had from Motown, but they didn't want him to do it, even though he was good enough. This is part of the reason that they went to CBS Records and produced their first two albums, Gamble and Huff. But Tito was creative. And if I'm correct, Tito wrote Torture, which was the biggest family record that they've had in decades. So he was pivotal. You have three brothers in that combine. Of course, Michael, second to him, Jermaine, and then Tito comes third in terms of being accomplished in music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
I think that's fair. He was good.
I think that's fair.
He was good. He was good, and he was good. And I think I wish he'd had more opportunity to shine. But there's a lot of competition in that family.
A lot of them Jacksons had some competition, boy. And I know
Yes,
some of the
sir.
stories. I don't really, what I mean. I like to make the first family of music. I'm not gonna get into all of the negative stuff like the white media does, but the negativity all turned into something that was good and positive that they all used to make
And we
better
all
music
love,
ultimately,
and we all enjoy.
and we all
All I
enjoy
can
it.
say to you, everybody, the girls like Michael, the older ladies like Jackie, the girls a little bit older like Jermaine, but all the people that liked, rocky blues type, they liked the fact that he could actually play. And there was some of them could play. The boy who did the congas, there were some people who could play their asses off when they were young. And that gets lost by the Motown machine and, and the crap within the music business.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Dr. Short. So let's go into this past weekend's plantation celebration.
Oh,
For those
Lord.
who don't know, it was the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Phoenix Awards. And they do this every year. Can you tell the people what this award shindig fuckery thing is? Can you let the people know what it is, like how it got, or whatever history you know about what this past weekend's thing was?
I thought you said penis award, but you said Phoenix. And
Phoenix.
There's nothing rising from the damn ashes. So I hadn't heard of it until this weekend. I used to volunteer for the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. Mm-hmm. One of my mentors was one of the original founders, okay? Mm-hmm. And I want to do something very different, DeJuan, and that is the Congressional Black Caucus was supposed to be the conscience and soul of the black struggle as we move from the streets into the suites. And they betrayed it in its totality. And when I think about the fact that they're giving Phoenix Awards to people, and one of the few surviving founders, Reverend Walter Fauntroy, whose birthday is February 6th, right?
Yeah.
And I think he'll be he's headed towards his 90s almost.
Yeah.
He's dying, sick, and wasting away right here in Washington, D.C., and they don't say anything. They turn their back on him. One of the founders. How come they don't recognize Walter Fauntroy? He was there. He was he was the main one kicking Ronald Reagan in his ass when he came to D.C. in 1981. Okay, the Congressional Black Caucus, this foundation thing is nothing but a boule Prince Hall Mason joint.
Okay.
Because at least 6 of the founding members of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, six of the 9 and 6 of the 13. And if you put in ugly Shirley Chisholm, who was a Zeta, we could have guessed that by her mug. It's a boule joint, and it's turned its back on black people. What you'll find, the Congressional Black Caucus, what they do is white corporations, the same way they underwrite Essence Fest and all these other things, it's the same sort of crap. There's no real depth there. In fact, the main thing that the Congressional Black Caucus has done in its 54 years was fight for Haiti and South Africa. In case y'all don't know that. They really fought for Haiti. They really fought for South Africa. They really did. But they've never fought for black people. The Congressional Black Caucus has exactly one legislative victory that most of you have never heard of because it was bullshit. It was called the Humphrey Hawkins Full Employment Bill. That passed in 1977. Most of you weren't alive. Are we fully employed? Right? They don't deliver anything. So I'll tell you, the big thing for the Congressional Black Caucus for real, it's just like BET Soundstage or the Image Awards for the NAACP. It's an opportunity for Negroes to socialize, to show off, to profile, and to fuck. I mean, the big thing that the Congressional Black Caucus has is their fashion shows and events. And I used to know the person that, I don't know if they're still alive. Their name was Harvey. They were big, morbidly obese queen. You know, hey, Dewan, what y'all gonna come to see? Y'all coming to the caucus?
One of them.
Yes, that was the highlight. Parties. So this is, oh yeah. I mean, you come to me, the politicians fuck all the women. I'm thinking about one of my coworkers who was telling me about the orgies, and some of the people, I won't say which congressman, used to go and just watch. I guess they had that Roland Martin, or should I say Jelly Hole Martin spirit. You know, they like to see things. I don't want to do, but I just want to look at it. Just let me stare at it, right? This is what they do here. Look, when I was at the caucus last, you should have seen all the geriatric niggas screaming in their drawers over Kamala Harris or Cory Booker, or both of them. There was nothing there. They weren't doing anything. In fact, the CBC Legislative Weekend literally died under Obama because they saw like we're free. We have a black in the White House. People stop going. What gives it strength is when black folks are desperate and they can get white people's attention, say we can get the rest of the niggas to vote against their own interests. And that's when people show up. People weren't even coming. One year, there were we heard more plainclothes police to keep people from coming in and kicking their asses than people really want to come. So what happens? The beer companies, the liquor companies, the people that sell tobacco and other shit that fuck black people up, pay for a lot of parties and shit. And that's all they're doing. You know what's really insidious? I remember working as a butler for a catering company. The CBC folks hired primarily white, non-white, white and Latins and others to provide the services and all. So, you know, you can have party, have some live jazz, but you know what? All that money that comes into the caucus, they could be hiring and really doing something. It's about jobs for a few. It has really nothing to do with the rest of us. It never was, it may have been intended, but in reality, we have to be honest. If you start off with a bunch of Greeks and Prince Hall Masons and Eastern Stars, then is anyone surprised which is why I call it the Congressional Black Circus? They're not talking about no crime bill. They're not doing that. Their job is to keep us on the Democratic plantation. And let me say something to you. They really took a turn for the worse in the early 2000s with Nancy Pelosi as the leader. And for like 20 years.
I remember that stretch. I remember that stretch.
An enemy to black people. There was some relevance, and then that shit disappeared. I mean, they turned their backs on people like Cynthia McKinney, again, Walter Fauntroy. When Mickey Leland's ass died, I mean, nobody really investigated what happened. All kinds of really strange things happened. The mass incarceration, a lot of them were with that. And you keep looking at what happens. You say, my God, can't they? We don't matter. We don't matter. So again, if you look, one of the longest civil disobedience movements in this country, the anti-apartheid movement was spearheaded, or should I say hijacked, by the CBC because Howard University students started going down to the South African embassy and they jumped in and took it. And the reason I know is I financed the campaign for my cousin to become president of the Howard student body on the basis I asked them a question: do you hate apartheid in South Africa? I just saw them shoot a 3-year-old black girl in the head and I want to kill somebody, right?
Yeah.
And so somebody's got to do something because I'm angry. And he says, I hate it too. I says, well, you know, I went and shook down some Klansmen that my father knew for money to help them win. So these people pimp a lot of different struggles, but they've never sustained anything. And by the way, there was a thing called the plan that the Congressional Black Caucus people had. It was called the Black Plan for Black Family Survival. It came out in either 81 or 82. I have a copy somewhere. A lot of what they were saying is right, but you're not going to get that through the Democratic Party. These people are looking for a system that's trying to destroy us to save us. That's like trying to make Jack the Ripper head of a brownie troop. I mean, I mean, you can put a head, but what's going to happen to the brownies? They, because they're in reality not pushing for real Black empowerment, mobilization, and independence. They're trying to figure out how you can have it both ways, how you can work with the very people working against you to get something. And that's because they're boomers and silent generation people that set this thing up. I mean, the niggas, one of them, Augustus Hawkins, that nigga was old. He was your congressman, the one who could almost pass for white. That's why he kept winning. I mean, you had these old Black people who never dreamed of being able to shit downtown or eat a sandwich with white people with their odors. And that's, the world's changed. And so the caucus is really, it's a clown show.
It is.
And a fashion show. And the only nice thing is, if you really like the kings and queens pictures and all art shit, you could go through and all of these white businesses that steal from our community would give some free giveaways. And that's what it's all about. The Congressional Black Caucus, they changed the name, but one of their main funders was the Correctional Corporation of America, the private prison people who lock up young Black men, capitalize the Congressional Black Caucus. They're people who hate our guts. Bill and Melinda Gates, the people killing us with the jabs, the killing folk in Africa, killing people everywhere. Let me tell you something. I was a presenter for a Congressional Black Caucus thing dealing with Depo-Provera. And
that was killing folks.
It's still killing people. It's linked to AIDS. It's linked to suicide, sterility, breast cancer. It is a genocide drug. It was a genocide drug of choice in Kenya, Zimbabwe, and South Africa, the United States, Brazil, West Papua, Australia, New Zealand. If there's a population that they hate, even over in Myanmar, you hear about the Rohingyas, they've got them on Depo. Depo is a genocide birth contraceptive. The Congressional Black Caucus not only would not let us meet with the regular caucus, they put us over in the Capitol Visitor Center and then had the police attack us and drive us out of there. Literally, can you imagine? Wow. Police come. This is, imagine getting attacked and the congressman will sub out Lacey Clay from Missouri, let them come in and kick us out and threaten us with arrest and all. And we had permission to be there. This is the kind of shit they're into. The Congressional Black Caucus, they will have, when they have their events, I'm almost done, Brother Dewan.
Okay.
Now and then they'll get a brother like you or somebody saying something. And interspersed, they'll have some workshops. But you know what? If they do, you have to be a frat, a Prince Hall Mason, or with some white corporation or somebody's lover shit to be able to talk real shit. And you know what? People clap your head off some shit, and they don't follow up with any legislation. So it's basically a political coon show with broken smoke and mirrors. That's what this shit is. It's all fucking lies. If they were for real, they would have changed their theme to talk about what happened in California. Notice they didn't do that. But
they didn't talk about reparations. They didn't talk about none of that.
They never these. Let me tell you, and I'm gonna shut up. My brother, in other communities, when people are under stress and attack like we are, Mexico, they're not kind to politicians and people that betray them. We should expect to fight. We should expect to struggle, even if you don't win. Why do we love Nat Turner? Is he did it when there was no chance of winning, but had to stand up. We're going to have to just take risks sometimes and stand up, even if we don't win.
That's right.
Let me sign out for you, my brother. I'm getting another call from sister at Pace newspaper. I need to call her. That's out in your city.
So we're gonna go further in on this, and also it's a lot of newer developments going on right now politically. I know Tuesdays you're generally pretty busy, so I'm not sure.
I'm not busy. I mean, look,
Well, let's do it tomorrow then. Like, let's tomorrow we're gonna go over to Patreon so we can get all the way detailed, and we ain't got to worry about YouTube kicking us off and doing no bullshit. So,
yeah, they treat us white on Patreon.
Yeah, YouTube don't treat us like shit. So let's aim for this time tomorrow over on Patreon. So if y'all on Patreon,
that's cool. That's
Y'all
cool.
gonna hear
That's
Dr.
cool.
Short go a lot deeper, and if you're on the live interview lounge, submit your questions to me, and then we're gonna have. If you want to ask Dr. Short some questions, go to Patreon. If you're on the level that can ask questions, we'll get your questions to Dr. Short for tomorrow. All right, y'all. But thanks again, Dr. Short.
All right. See
I know
you
you have
now.
somewhere to go. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was Dr. Randy Short talking about, basically the Congressional Black Caucus. I'm glad he called in when he called in, because I wanted to give him time to set the foundation for the group that we're talking about. Again, that's Dr. Short. He's out there in DC. He's been around the Congressional Black Caucus since there's been a Congressional Black Caucus. And he's been around and he knows these people, and he's somebody who spent a long time in that world. So when you listen to Dr. Randy Short talk, you're getting somebody who was in the world, who, if he still wanted to be in that world, could still be in that world, but chose not to be in that world because of all the bullshit that world is involved in. So he chose to stick with the people and not with a handful of people that can pay him a lot of money. He chose to stick with the greater good of Black society. So catch us over on Patreon. And yeah, on Patreon, we take care of Dr. Short over on Patreon too. So I'm not having them give up all this information, get kicked off of YouTube, Twitter every 2 weeks like you do for free. Nah, we take care of that brother, all right? So let's take care of those who take care of us, especially someone who chose to break away from the bullshit so they can give us the information that we normally wouldn't get on the news, all right? But I want to go in now. Let's go into this. I want to break down certain parts of the speech yesterday that they talked. I want to break down certain parts of yesterday's speech and the speeches, and just listen to. I want to listen. I want to listen to some of the themes that was going on. Some of the themes that was going on yesterday. In this huge betrayal of Black America, professional white ass kissing contest these niggas had with each other yesterday. So let's go ahead and let's go in. This first up, they started off yesterday with a luncheon. I'm sorry, not yesterday, the weekend. They started off this weekend with a lunch. I think it was Saturday. And when they started out with that luncheon, or whatever that was, they did what they like to always do with us. Let's start out with some singing, some hoping and praying. I'm sitting here, I'm praying. Yeah, remember y'all grandma used to like that song? Sit here, I'm praying. They could have, look, they're going to get this old ass choir. Look, here you go. So this is how it starts. They start with lift every voice and sing like they do with the NFL. They started with lift every voice and sing. They start with that. My thing is this. Y'all gonna start. They always want to start off with some choir selection. Let's bring all the Black folks together. Let's all forget about the past and let's just all come together and all that shit. My thing is this. If you're going to start with some gospel, y'all could have at least started with my grandmama's favorite song. Y'all remember this from the Clark sisters? They could have at least start out with the Clark sisters. You know what I mean? They could at least start with the Clark sisters. If you're going to give us some gospel, give us some shit that our grandmama jam to. In my life, you brought the sun. You brought the lifeline. Y'all could at least start with my grandmama's favorite song if y'all gonna go some gospel. Y'all could have brought the Clark sisters in and been like, y'all could at least did that. But no, you want to go traditional and bring this shit. Whoa, hey, chat room. What would you rather have? Like we talking to regular ass black folks, not these Congressional niggas. Would you rather have this? Or would you rather have this? Come on, what would you rather have? Shit. That Clark sisters bring the Holy Spirit out in the nigga. But anyway, I digress. So they start off with the Negro spirituals, all right? And then we get where do we go? Then we get to, I got these saved on I got these screenshots saved with these timestamps. So then we get here, and then we start off with her, Corinne St. Pierre. She looks like a beetle with a wig, don't she? You said definitely the Clark sisters. That's right. Come on now. If you gonna cater to us and if you gonna sit around, at least give us what we want. Shit. Hell yeah, BB and CC Winans, that would have been dope as hell. Nigga, what if they had some BB and CC Winans hold up the light? What if they had this? Y'all remember this? Let our voice be heard across the nation. Hold up the light. Remember the episode of Martin when they played Hold Up the Light when the little midget attacked the TV station? You remember when that midget attacked the TV station on Martin? And BB and CC Winans was in there singing this? Nigga, they could have had some God's Property, Kurt Franklin and family. Nigga, they could have had all that. They could have all that. But no, they chose them niggas. So let's go into some shit that she said that kind of got highlighted to me. You know? Listen to this part.
This administration has done the work. President Biden, Vice President Harris didn't talk the talk. They walked the walk. But I want to take a moment to talk about the president that I know. As the first Black, openly queer White House press secretary, and I gotta add, a proud Haitian American.
There you go. If you're Black, what are you adding? See, there's the thing. They're telling us right to our face. Black is not good enough. You got to be dark-skinned and something else. Haitian and queer. It took 15 minutes for her to mention all of her classifications.
But I want to take a moment to talk about the president that I know. As the first Black, openly queer White House press secretary, and I gotta add, a proud Haitian American. For those who don't know,
if we all Black, why does it matter?
I can tell you that representation matters to him.
She just said it. Representation matters. For them, it's all about representation. And representation is one of those broad, tricky words. Who do you represent? Represent what? because the LGBTQ side of this beetle has gotten legislation in her favor. The Haitian side gets to come over to a country that they did not have to build. The woman side gets to benefit from the white woman's movement in some ways, and as far as the representation side goes, real black women know that these motherfuckers don't give a shit about y'all. But for the representation part, it's like if you black and American or 4 grandparents here in America, straight, love your family, are you represented? Or do you need all of these other classifications to be included in the representation side? It's like when it comes to black folks, straight black people from America, we've gotten the white male classification. Can I say it to the whole truth, nothing but truth, so help me God? They treat us like white men. Straight black men and women with 4 grandparents born on the soil. They treat us like white men. What do I mean by treating us like white men? Well, white men are technically not included in any sort of program. And the reason for that is because it's the presumption that white men are first in line to all of these jobs, all these opportunities. And they are. Being a white male, if you want to go for a particular position, place, job, a white man can get any job he wants. Now, he may choose not to go for certain jobs or certain class or look down on certain classifications of jobs, but that's a choice. A white man gets access to everything. So these anti-discrimination laws is taking that into account. And in this original inception was to give access for black Americans, because at the time when this all went down, the amount of the other Americans in this country was negligible. This was a white and black country at the time. These other laws, these civil rights laws, was to give black men and women an opportunity where white men that job was presumed to be for them. Nowadays, with the civil rights that we fought for, they don't give a fuck or mention or say anything about straight black men and women. You got to either have a parent from somebody else, come from somewhere else, be queer, and nothing wrong with queer, gay. I ain't got no issues with none of that. But you got to have one of those other classifications to be considered. We get the white male treatment from civil rights, but we don't get treated like white males at the same time. We don't get first shot at a job. We don't get first shot at anything. But they act as if we do. Let's go to this next part that she said. I swear, her hair looked like it got bed bugs. I'm sorry. Her hair looks like it has bed bugs. Let me keep going.
And that progress would not be possible without the contributions of the leaders that are here today. Trust me, President Biden and Vice President Harris understand our community. And they understand stakes for it. We have a president and a vice president who understand that when Black students succeed, our nation succeeds.
When Black students succeed, our nation succeed. Okay, so what are you doing about it?
We have a president and a vice president who know democracy only thrives when voting is protected and celebrated.
See, that's where they get us right there on the whole democracy thing. The United States is not a fucking democracy. You can call this oligarchy. You can call it fascism. You can call it, there are a lot of things. The closest the United States is to democracy, out of all of the lists of forms of government, On a local level, you can call this a representative democracy on the local level, and that's just locally. But this is a republic. That's why we say to the republic for which it stands. Locally, we may have a representative democracy locally, only when it works out in their way. That's where we elect representatives. Instead of going to the polls for everything, we elect representatives to speak for us. That's the closest the United States is to a democracy, and it's not even that, to tell you the whole truth. But that's the closest it is to a democracy. But when we do a Pledge of Allegiance, it says, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under a group. I'm sorry. We live in a republic. So let's go to the definition of a republic. A state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representative, which has an elected or nominated president versus a monarch. Why don't they ever use the word republic? We have a republic because we elect representatives to speak for us, technically, but we do not have a democracy and never have had a democracy, never claimed to have it. That's the cold part about it. This country never even claimed to have a democracy, but the word democracy is used every fucking day. That's funny. And then we get to this part here. They bring up the actors and stuff like that. So they bring the sister up from Blackish. So that's 27 mark. They bring in the sister from Blackish. And this is what she has to say. And I want to, and this is respect to her. I ain't got no issues with her. She's young. She doesn't know any better. She's young, and she said she's been on Blackish since 2007. So that means she's been around nothing but liberal ass, retarded ass Democrats her whole work life. So this sister ain't got no choice. You know, that's been her work environment. So I don't want to say anything negative about her in particular, okay?
And it's not just about having a good time, because we do that at the cookout. But it's more about celebrating Black excellence and building a legacy. And Vice President Kamala Harris, a proud HBCU graduate, knows a thing or two about that. So go Bisons. The Biden and Harris administration has also invested $18 billion into HBCUs and young Black people.
That's the part I wanted to say. The Biden administration takes credit for investing $18 billion, but the Trump administration had $45 billion set aside for HBCUs. You see how they play with numbers? They'll push this young sister out there to say the Biden administration got $18 billion, but the Trump administration had $45 billion for HBCUs. You see how they play that bullshit ass money math on us? And to take it a step further, I'm so tired of HBCUs getting all of the attention when it comes to doing stuff for Black people. No disrespect, young sister. I got love for you. I wish one day we could have a conversation so I could show you, because I used to believe like you when I was 19. When I was 19 like her, 20 like her, I used to believe in this motherfucker too. When I was 20, I probably would have been giving the same goddamn speech when I was 20. Because I ain't know shit. I only knew what the grown folks around me and what the media taught me. I ain't know shit at 20, especially about politics. So I would have been saying the same bullshit she's saying at the age of 20 because I ain't know better. HBCUs do not run the yard of Black America, and as Black people, we must stop it. Stop it. Stop going for this HBCU bullshit. And if you went to an HBCU, don't take it personal. Your college should have taught you to not take things personal when talking about systems. Don't take it personal when the system is being addressed. And if you're an HBCU grad, You should understand this. Your education should have told you this. This isn't about you. This is about the system. HBCUs only need money because black people are financially disenfranchised across the board. We are economically stifled. And the Democrats have a lot to do with it. Go apply for a job now. Spanish speaking, or if you speak a second language, guess what? You get paid more. You notice that? I noticed that shit in my 20s when I'll be applying for jobs. Like, why do all the Spanish speaking positions pay more? Half the Mexicans in the Spanish speaking position don't even know fucking Spanish. If you've had a day job with a lot of your Mexican homies, most of them don't even know Spanish. But they'll be like, yeah, bilingual. Bloop. And that be Democrats pushing that bilingual shit. Because Republicans want you to speak some goddamn English. If you're bilingual, boom, automatically you get an economic foothold over non-bilingual. Most of these jobs now say bilingual preferred. So if you don't even speak Spanish, you don't even have the option of getting paid less. You just don't get the job because they need somebody that speaks bilingual. Do you think white people get turned down for jobs because they're not bilingual? Who gets turned down for jobs because they're not bilingual? Black people. They'll never turn a white man named Todd down because he don't know Spanish. They'll be like, well, Todd, we can just use Google Translate. That shit affects us. And then when you go deeper, going back to the Biden administration, let me see. Let's go here to the briefing room, and let's go back to the White House. Why? Let's see if I can find that. Let's see if I can find it for you. On the White House, it's too much for me. I'm doing too much at one time. Go back to previous shows. I pulled it up. When the White House guaranteed 15% of government jobs, management positions to Asians. When the White House talked about all the Recovery Act and the 12% of all government contracts that went to Asians. That's how you build wealth. If black people are economically sustained, we can afford these HBCUs. And not only can we afford these, generationally, what if they do everything? These people target our music and things that we do great to make a lot of money. They target black millionaires. They target black billionaires. If we're allowed to just be, our millionaire and our billionaire class would hit these HBCUs up with endowments. If HBCUs was doing an adequate job, why don't they have endowments? Why is it that Harvard graduates can make enough money to give this school to and Brown and Yale? Hell, let's not fuck the Ivy League. NYU, UCLA, USC. They have alumni that can afford to pay it forward. Black schools don't. I'm sure there were thousands of Howard graduates that will be putting bank in that endowment fund. I'm sure that there were thousands of Hampton, of Philander. Is Philander Smith sitting around? Johnson C. Smith sitting around? Morehouse, Spelman. There were Southern, Grambling. There are literally thousands, maybe tens of thousands of black people. If they were getting paid to the level of their white counterparts for what they produce, they'd be able to float HBCUs and they wouldn't need your fucking money from the government. If those schools are pumping out billionaires. And then look what happened when Robert Johnson, the brother, a few years ago, when he paid off the graduation for all those cats at Morehouse. They came after his ass with speculation after that. Not charges, but rumors of possible charges. When that one black man he pissed all of America off when he paid off Morehouse's graduation. HBCUs wouldn't need shit from the government if the government wasn't getting in the way of black people getting paid. They wouldn't need nothing from y'all. The reason why HBCUs need something is because you economically stifle the graduates of HBCUs, black people. So that HBCU shit, fuck y'all. Not HBCU people, the government. And the government representatives thinking they doing something for black people. First off, most black people ain't going to no goddamn HBCU. I know I didn't. It wasn't nowhere in hell I was going to go either. Fuck that shit. Why in the hell would I leave sunny ass LA to go to hot, sweaty ass Louisiana for school? Shit. One of my homeboys left hot, sunny LA and went to Grambling. And then when he graduated, he got hired at Raytheon on a conditional basis. You know what that condition was? That he come back to LA and go to Cal State Long Beach and get the same fucking degree from a Cal State. My homeboy had to get a double bachelor's to work at Raytheon. Good enough from Grambling, smart enough from Grambling to get the job, but they were like, yeah, this degree's from Grambling. If you could just go back to Cal State, we'll pay for it. But if you can go back to Cal State Cal State Long Beach, then we'll get you in as a full-term engineer. That's how the fuck they treat graduates of HBCUs here on the West Coast. They may treat y'all better down south than on the East Coast, but on the West Coast, they be like, yeah, degree don't count. Go to one of our schools and then we'll certify you. How about that? That's how these white folks treat HBCU degrees out here on the West. But again, HBCUs wouldn't need your help if you didn't stifle. If you didn't stifle our economic growth. So, young sister, don't let these Democrats make you think that I know you're using their talking points and everything, but don't make them feel as if they doing something special. All right? Now, let's just get into what Sleepy Joe has to say. I don't want to go to that part. Let's get into Sleepy Joe. Let's get into what Sleepy Joe has to say.
Something like so many Americans like Karine, as he pointed out, a proud Haitian American community that's under attack.
Now, here we go. I'll go back.
And it does.
Listen to this shit.
I want to take a moment to say something like so many Americans like Karine, as he pointed out, a proud Haitian American community.
You see how that works? They know the difference between a Haitian American and a Black American. They know the difference. This is why everyone's so mad. See, everyone else has been delineating on their terms. They're mad now that we're delineating on our terms. They delineate whenever the fuck they want to delineate, don't they? And you never see them go back like, no. Yeah, I'm Haitian, but no, I'm Black. I'm down with Black. I'm an American now. I'm Black. My skin is Black. I'm living in the United States. I'm a Black American. Don't call me Haitian. They don't do that. So since they delineate, we delineate. Problem solved.
It's under attack in our country right now. Simply wrong. There's no place in America. This has to stop what he's doing. It has to stop. Now, thank you all for being here in this historic day. Today, recognize.
So he talks about attacking Haitians has to stop, but nothing about attacking Black Americans. Okay.
That this nation would not exist, and this is literal, without the blood, sweat, and tears, without the determination, dreams, and contributions of Black Americans.
That's true.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
Wouldn't exist.
Not Haitian Americans,
It's a
Black
fitting
Americans.
event during this fantastic Congressional Black Caucus Week. All the members of the Black Caucus that are here today, stand up. I want to see y'all. Come on.
Let's skip forward.
Public life, because of civil rights, when I moved from Scranton to Delaware.
Here we go.
Segregated by law. What's going on in the world? And they let me sit down. I got involved in public life because of civil rights when I moved from Scranton
Bullshit.
to Delaware, which was segregated by law. Throughout my career, I'd attend morning mass at my Catholic church and then attend Sunday services at the AME church in Wilmington.
He lying his ass off. He ain't got no fucking Sunday service at the AME church in Wilmington.
Planning the desegregation efforts in my state that had been segregated by law.
He said he planned desegregation stuff in his state that was segregation by law. Huh.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, he's run.
Let's listen to what he just said. They are, and again, I believe in calling out Trump's lying, but if you're going to call out lying, let's call out everybody's lying. Let's go back and listen to what he just said right here.
Mass at my Catholic church and then attend Sunday services at the AME church in Wilmington. Planning the desegregation efforts in my state that had been segregated by law. You know,
he said he planned desegregation stuff in the state. Let's go to this.
Run for president twice before, unsuccessfully. He's never before been the front runner. Now that he is towering over all the other declared Democratic candidates, his almost 5 decades in public life are getting some real scrutiny. On top of that list, his record on civil rights during his younger days as a
of the 2020 campaign.
Gentlemen and ladies of the Senate.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. It was the mid-1970s. Biden favored desegregation, but not through busing. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists. In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus. On March 25, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race. Biden reflected on that era earlier this year.
There are a bunch of racists. There was, James O. East of Mississippi, Strom Thurmond, and so on. There were 9 guys who were in the caucus that were, I ran against in the civil rights movement.
But he did not say that Eastland and others were partners on several of Biden's anti-busing bills. On June 30th, 1977, Biden wrote, "Dear Mr. Chairman, I want you to know that I very much appreciate your help during this week's committee meeting in attempting to bring my anti-busing legislation to a vote." Then in 1978, Biden again asked Eastland to put his anti-busing bill before the full Senate, writing, "Your participation in floor debate would be welcomed." 4 decades later.
So there we go. He just lied. That's just proof showing he just lied. Let's keep going.
I'd be home for our own Sunday dinners. Those conversations, those sermons shaped who I became. The bottom line is,
a racist piece of shit.
The black community has always had my back, and I've always had yours. So thank you for all you've taught me. Thank you for all the love you've extended to me. I also wanted to host this brunch because we have progress to celebrate. Together, we're making the most significant investment in black America in all of American history. We've centered racial equity as the center of everything we do. With your help, in just 3.5 years, we've created over 2 million new black jobs for black Americans.
Black jobs. Where were all you niggas at that was complaining about Trump talking about black jobs? Y'all remember when Trump, in this debate, said black jobs in this speech? Remember all these niggas you had? All these black Americans, people that I love, Simone Biles. Oh, shit, I fucked up. Damn it. I'm going to go back to that. You had them all going out talking about, hey, my black job. What is President Trump is racist because he said we have a black job? What does he mean by black job? You niggas was sounding like hoes when Trump said black job.
Black America in all of American history. We've centered racial equity as the center of everything we do. With your help, in just 3.5 years, we've created over 2 million new black jobs for black Americans and black.
Uh-huh. I ain't heard not one of you fried chicken, watermelon eating ass niggas say nothing to your master Joe Biden when he said black jobs. Where you at, D.L. Hewley? Ricky Smiley? All you Omega Sci-Fi niggas that didn't graduate college, where are y'all at? Massa, your boss. Just
3.5 years, we've created over 2 million new black jobs for black Americans.
He's talking about black jobs too. Where the fuck y'all at? Complaining. See, you're not complaining because your bitch boss said it. Yep. I'm sorry, he's not a bitch. You, your boss's bitch. That's what I'm trying to say. Excuse my French. Because we all know that America has a racial classification system when it comes to employment. We all understand this. We understood it when Trump said it. White men, white people, they can do any job that they want. Black Americans, unless you're a specialist of a specialist, they'll let one black person into a job that they'll allow 1,000 white people to have. But we all know, you go, especially here in California, you go to somewhere, you're only going to see the black people working security, the front desk, some other job. But the jobs that pay, the jobs that give you enough money to get a nice 5-bedroom house in the city, those ain't black jobs, and we know it. But when Trump said it, y'all was acting like hoes. When Biden said it, y'all shut up like the bitches you are. We don't need you kind of niggas. Because your anger and rage depends on which white man says it. If it's your boss. Let's keep going.
Americans are black. By the way, the next black job to be filled is as President of the United States of America. All right, watch me. We have the lowest black unemployment rate on record. More black Americans have health care than any time in history. Historic $18 billion to HBCUs. Everybody said, why am I doing
There go again. $18 billion to HBCUs. HBCU, and this is from Newsweek. And when they say $2 billion here, the $18 billion is adding up the whole time he's been in office. Historically black colleges and universities were looking forward to $45 billion in funding. And so they were going to give them 2. Black people complained to get to 18. This is Newsweek, yo, a reputable newspaper. HBCUs are looking forward to $45 billion. I'm sorry. I didn't have it up there for y'all. Here's Newsweek. I'm sorry. I don't know if I had it on screen or not. Here we go. $45 billion in funding is what they were looking forward to under Trump. So the audacity of these people to cut the money by 2/3 and bragging about giving you 2/3, bragging about giving you 1/3 of what the previous administration promised, the next administration wants to do again. And basically, let me say this also real quick for you dumbasses out there. I'm going to stop saying, well, I'm not a Trump supporter. I shouldn't have to say that. Because those of us who don't fuck with the Democratic Party, a lot of us have been on our heels just making it very clear, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter. But if you think I'm a Trump supporter, then oh the fuck well. I don't care. If you think, well, no. Because a lot of you niggas is dumb as fuck, so I don't care what y'all think. A lot of people, not people in general, but people who think this way, I should say. People who think this way are dumb than a motherfucker, so I really don't care. You come back with, so you a Trump supporter. What you gonna do about it? So, if I was a Trump supporter, the fuck you gonna do about it? You support an open racist. You support a fake black bitch that's black when it's convenient. So, we even, bitch. Stop being on our heels just because we don't fuck with Kamala. We ain't got to be on our heels for these people. These motherfuckers is lames. These people who vote blue, no matter who they some goddamn lames. The rest of us ain't got to be on our heels worried about something vote blue, no matter who nigga think. Now, back when Obama was in office or back when Trump's first term, then yeah, if you were seeing, you did look coonish if you was supporting Trump in 2016 because of all the bullshit Trump was talking and what he represented. But we have 4 years of that man in office, and we know he's racist, but we also know Biden is racist. We also know Kamala said she washed her greens in a bathtub when we know not a goddamn black woman on earth, American United States history, has ever washed one motherfucking green in the bathtub. So when it come down to racism, shit, nigga, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. That's what my dad used to always say. Choose the races. Which one you got? You got 6 or half a dozen? And that's basically what you niggas is arguing over. That be like, you're a Trump supporter. You idiots are arguing over 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Either way it go is 6. So what the fuck is you arguing about? So ain't no more of that getting on my heels saying, no, I'm not a Trump supporter. If you think I'm a Trump supporter, what the fuck you gonna do about it? We got over 600 people in here on YouTube. I need 600 likes. Another 250 over here on Twitter. That means I need 250 retweets of this program, all right? Make sure, on Facebook, ain't nobody got that watching. Facebook has 0. Facebook don't fuck with me at all. I got 0 views on Facebook, but hey, if you're scrolling high, Facebook will make you feel like a loser out here if you're talking that real shit. Facebook ain't fucking with you at all. So those of us who aren't necessarily down with Kamala, we ain't got to defend ourselves to these idiots that's gonna come around and be like, so you a Trump supporter? Most of them niggas wear dunce hats anyways. What the fuck are you trying to appease their minds for? So let's go more into what they was talking about. I got some more notes. So let's go to this other. So that was the luncheon part of the day. Then at night, they had their players ball. They had the pimp players ball. And you see here people like Angela Rye, she getting ready for the players ball. You see Angela Rye over here getting ready for the players ball. So the Phoenix Awards. So here we are, the Phoenix Awards dinner right here. The players ball. And it was something that Biden said here I wanted to go back to.
We started the process of reclassifying marijuana and pardoned thousands of convictions for mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using marijuana or have a...
This is how bad it's gotten. The man that's responsible for the 3 strikes bill, for the crack disparities, for throwing so many black people in jail federally over drugs, is bragging about people getting released for marijuana. The lady running for president put people in jail in San Francisco and charged them, even if they didn't get thrown in jail, they would charge them marijuana simple possessions, which messed up their employment opportunities, messed up their economic, and you wonder why so much homelessness in San Francisco. All them black people that got hit with marijuana charges, maybe if they didn't have them charges, they could have got jobs so they wouldn't go homeless, Kamala and Biden. They fucked everything up. These rat bastards. Imagine somebody coming into your crib, throwing everything over, knocking over all the drawers, knocking over everything, knocking over all the stuff, taking all the shoes out, knocking over the lights, and then it's one thing sitting on the floor, and they go pick it up and be like, hey, here's me helping you clean the room up. I picked up this brush. Bitch, what about the rest of the room you fucked up? What about that? They come handing you a brush they knocked over when they knocked over the whole goddamn room and talking about something, look at me help you. The fuck is we talking about here? Most of the damn black people that was convicted are damn near their retirement age. These niggas that got convicted back then, they done opened up businesses since then. They couldn't get a job. So they done since opened up businesses, moved to Vegas, moved to the South. Ha ha, all you niggas in the South getting all these displaced Californians. Ha ha ha. I ain't coming down there with y'all. I love y'all in the South, but y'all getting all these displaced Californians. Blame Joe Biden and blame Kamala Harris for them bullshit ass laws that made to where niggas couldn't get a job again, so they couldn't afford to live in California. So they had to go down to Texas where y'all a little more liberal with giving jobs to people with felonies. Blame this motherfucker for your southern city getting ultra extra crowded from these displaced Californians that got to come down there and restart. Blame him. Don't blame us. Blame him. So you had that. And then you had the fakest of the fake. Kamala Harris come out with her fake ass accent, dressed like one of the Supremes. She over here coming on stage looking like she getting ready to sing Baby Love. The fuck is going on over here, Kamala Harris? Looking like a knockoff Motown background singer. You looking like the singer that couldn't hit the note. Nigga, Kamala Harris came walking out looking like, look at this shit. Get this fake ass nigga Florence Ballard from the Supremes dressed ass out of here.
Make you stay away so long, 'cause baby love.
This fake ass Baby Love dress out of here.
Can we please give it up for our President Joe Biden?
Look at that big fake ass smile.
Oh, it's good to be back. Please have a seat, everyone. Please have a seat.
I'm going. Let me slow it down, so you can get the full effect of her bullshit ass accent.
I have to say,
Listen to this shit.
it is so good to be back. And let me just say about Joe Biden.
Hear the ski wee bitches.
Hello to all my divine nine brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters. And these niggas is accepting this. She's in a room full of black people. She's pandering to them with this new ass accent, and the only thing they can say is ski-wee, ski-wee. You ski-wee niggas are sellouts. I said it. You ski-wee niggas.
9 brothers and sisters. And my soror. And to all my HBCU brothers and sisters.
this I'm gonna tell you right now. A politician coming to me saying, hey, all of my Cal State brothers and sisters, I'm gonna be like, shut up, bitch, what's your plan? You think I give a fucking... Her husband went to my school. Kamala, me and your husband went to the same goddamn college. You think I'd give a fuck if he came around talking about some, hey, my fellow CISA matadors? No, bitch, what you gonna do for me? But you, not all. But too many of you HBCU niggas, too many of you ski-wee frat and sorority motherfuckers, y'all get giddy at the simplest bullshit that only gives you psychic benefits. Oh, she went to the same school as me. Oh, she went to an HBCU just like me. You niggas need a hug. What's wrong with y'all? College is some shit we did back in the day to get a bullshit ass degree. College ain't nothing you hold on to as a grown ass person, bitch. That's some shit we did in our teens and 20s because the America told us that if we get a degree, we'll get a better opportunity in life. Yeah, you got a degree, but all them motherfuckers, them white boys, they got a degree too, and they your boss. Now you got these new Asians coming to this country, and they your boss. While you over here ski-weeing like a goddamn fool. You niggas look stupid. Like, this shit was my incense holder for like 10 years. My first 10 years graduating, this shit was like an incense holder. That's all I use it for. I set my incense tray on top of this bitch. But you niggas going around talking about, and here's the worst part about it. Most of you Omega Sci-Fi, you frat, at least the sorority sisters graduated college. At least the sisters that most chicks that talk about their sorority, at least they graduated. Most of you frat niggas didn't graduate shit. You niggas didn't even get an AA degree. You motherfuckers went to school for 6 months, got a license plate ring and a hoodie, pledged, got on, and then the next school year, you went down and worked at the goddamn electronic factory. You didn't even finish. But now, Ricky Smiley, what's his name? D.L. Hewley. D.L. Hewley couldn't even read it. He's an Omega Sci-Fi. How the fuck? That nigga D.L. Hewley turned Omega Sci-Fi in his 30s. He couldn't even read during his college years. And he bragging about doing all this. I guess this means I didn't graduate. Anytime I see a nigga going around I'm gonna tell y'all right now, yeah, I'm about to offend somebody, but y'all gonna have to look. If you Omega Sci-Fi frat niggas don't say nothing, us non-frat niggas are gonna say something. I'm telling y'all right now. Anytime you hear this song right here, and you see a whole bunch of wild, rabid, animal acting ass niggas knocking women all out the way. How many times you been to the club and you hear this shit? Niggas knocking women all out the way. Oh, I gotta do my dance. You niggas look stupid. I was at a shindig a couple weeks ago. Whole bunch of niggas with great chinny chin hairs walking on canes. This song come on. Here they come. Nigga, if you don't sit your ass down, clown, the fuck is your problem? You ain't 22 no more, nigga. This ain't school days. You niggas be looking dumb than a motherfucker. I said it. You niggas look stupid. Niggas be in their 60s. The fuck is y'all problem? And the worst part about it, the function I was at, it was kind of a multi-cultural function. It was like a business thing. It was like you had Asians, I forgot where I was, but it was an event to where it was like more of a business mixer. This shit come on, the black folks that's in there, we all chilling, and then here come about, as soon as this shit come on, about 10 niggas jump up, knocking old ladies off they walkers and knocking old men off they canes, spilling they Hennessy and shit. So you can...
Yeah, this is a story of famous dog.
Niggas look dumb. I'm tired of you niggas. Black folks can't go nowhere so you can do the goddamn atomic dog dance at a party and ski-wee with this sorry son of a bitch. I'm telling you right now, if you HBCU niggas don't call out other HBCU niggas, if you fake ass frat niggas that don't got degrees don't start calling out these other fake ass frat niggas that don't got degrees, I'ma do it. Cause I don't give a fuck about y'all as a group. I care about us as a group. I want Kappas, Alphas, Masons, Christians, Muslims, poor blacks, blacks with no degree, blacks with 10 degrees. I want us all to win. I want gay blacks to win. I want trans blacks to win. I want black people that was raised in foster homes to win. I want midget black people to win. I want handicapped black people to win. I want athletes to win, entertainers, garbage men, frat boys, sorority. I want us all to win. But you sell out trick ass niggas only want your team to win. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. I mean it. I mean it. Fuck you and your crew. Oh, y'all gonna get mad at me, huh? All you Omega niggas and Kappa niggas and niggas wearing fucking walking around twirling canes and shit. Y'all gonna get mad, huh? Yeah, y'all can get way madder at me than y'all can get at that white boy right there that said he created black jobs for your monkey ass, huh? That's who you gonna get mad at. You don't get mad at me. Not the Indian bitch that gave all them jobs to Asians. Y'all ain't gonna get mad at her, are y'all? Y'all not gonna get mad at this president that fought for segregation that came right in front of your monkey ass face and told you he tried to desegregate, and you sorry sons of bitches didn't say nothing. You got a whole frat of niggas right there that could have questioned that man on his bullshit ass lie, and y'all didn't say nothing. So, because you know what they did? You know what happened, right? As soon as Joe Biden and all of them got to speaking and the cameras got turned off and now it's time to party, you know what they did? When it was time to ask Joe Biden questions, when it was time to follow up and ask Kamala questions, all they did was, hey, DJ, play that song. That's what they did, and you niggas fell right in line. That's what they did. Fucking monkeys. Get them niggas that Atomic Dog song so they can not worry about anything in politics. Am I lying? Am I lying? And I got respect for people for HBCUs. I got respect for frats. I got respect for Masons. I got respect for Eastern Stars. You know, those organizations at some points, and there are times where they can be effective. I'm not here to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But the way y'all act and function over these last 40 years, y'all ain't shit. And if you want to prove me wrong, do something. Don't say something. Do something. Corny ass niggas. Knocking over Miss Mabel so you can do your little bullshit ass frat dance. Fucking weirdos. You niggas bother me. For real, for real. Oh, man, my college. Nigga, you didn't even finish. Fuck out of here. Now the rest of Black America got to get held back for your psychic benefits. You weak ass niggas. Let's go into some of the shit that she was saying policy-wise with that big goofy ass smile and Diana Ross in Supreme's dress.
Toward a brighter future, Donald Trump and his extremist allies intend to take our nation backward. They will give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, cut Social Security and Medicare, and end the Affordable Care Act.
They cannot end the Affordable Care Act. Donald Trump affirmed that he's not going for the Affordable Care Act. And you want to give our money to immigrants, ma'am. What about that? Donald Trump wants to give the money to corporations. You want to give it to non-citizens. Either way it go, we don't win. I don't agree with neither. I don't agree with him giving the money to corporations, and I don't agree with you giving it to non-citizens. What we gonna do about it? But you, this nigga said Diana Patel. Kamala Patel Imhoff. But now, see now, Biz Marti, Patel is the upper India, northern India. Devi is southern India, the darker ones. That's her middle name, Devi. A lot of them got Devi in their name. But the southern India, northern India is the one, those are where your Patels come from. Northern India usually. But hey, who are we to split hairs? Who are we to split hairs? Let's listen to this bullshit right here. Listen to this is what listen to this lift-off program that she's bragging about doing for black people.
Of those who can afford it, it should be a right. And that is why together we cap the cost of prescription drugs for our seniors, and we'll cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans.
So she's talking about something for seniors and something for all Americans. Mind you, this is in front of black people. This is in front of your sorority and your fraternity folks. This she's saying all these things she won't do for black people before Atomic Dog. Now here we go. Listen to her other lift-off program.
Not just to get by, but to get ahead. And so we will build, yes, what I call an opportunity economy, so every person has an opportunity to own a home, start a business.
Opportunity economy, so everybody. Nothing specific for black people. Okay. Nothing specific for black people. Okay, let's see what else you got.
Freedoms, including the freedom to vote, which is why we will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act.
Black people, we already can vote. We're citizens. We don't need any more acts to vote. Poll taxes are already illegal. Those acts are for immigrants. All of the voting rights stuff is for immigrants to vote. That's for non-citizens and newly naturalized citizens to vote. That's not for us. We already can vote. Even in the South, we don't need any more laws. We can get an ID. And if a black person ain't got an ID, that means you're a fucking loser. You probably shouldn't be voting anyway. And if you're too old to have an ID, then cool, because you're going to be gone in a couple years anyway. Whatever you vote for, you ain't going to live long enough to see the manifestation of. No disrespect to the elderly, but let's get real. If grandma can't vote because she's 101 and her ID expired when she was 98, it's great to see. Voting is just ceremonial for her, because whatever she vote for, by the time that politician gets in office and can do something about it, grandma gonna be dead. No disrespect to grandma. My grandfather was 98 years old when he died. I remember the last time he had his license was when he was 92. My grandfather used to slide a $100 bill under his paperwork to the DMV worker, and he'd always get his driver's license renewed. My grandfather drove up until like the age of 95. But it expired in 92. But my grandfather was 98 years old in 2002. Why would I do all that fighting to where even if he did vote, he not around no more to see the manifestation of it? So no, they'll try to get you to say, well, they won't allow old people to vote and black people have a tough time getting ID. If you're black in your 30s and you can't get a driver's license or a state ID, then you're a fucking loser and you probably shouldn't be voting anyway. I know me personally, I don't want nobody voting for government if they 40 years old and don't know how to get a goddamn driver's license. Since some shit's just remedial. Take your ass down to the DMV, fill some shit out. You might not be able to get a passport because you owe child support, but you can get a state ID. Somebody sounds, I ain't sipping on nasty ass Jack Daniels. Fuck that. Who the fuck drink Jack Daniels? I ain't 20 no more. I'm drinking some dark. I'm drinking some XO, nigga. Who the fuck you think I am? Somebody said, Cruise Control said, if she thinks she black, tell Kamala to get an Easy E Jerry curl. You niggas are stupid. So yeah, they're trying to trick us with the voter ID shit. And then, like always, let's get to this trope.
And we will continue to fight for the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do.
AKA using abortion as birth control. Because I don't want to fuck all that trope about what if a woman is raped. If a woman is raped, then no, she should be able to abort. But it's only a handful that are. The rest of you tramps is using that shit as birth control. Okay, we should. What I don't respect from a lot of women in this whole abortion thing, and I'm gonna be straight up, and women, y'all know I love y'all. The women, especially the women, y'all know I love y'all. But what I do not respect is when I see women hiding behind women who were raped. That's, in my opinion, that shows a lack of character. If a woman is raped, we need to be dealing with her being raped. Rape shouldn't be connected to abortion. Rape is rape. Incest is incest. That should be criminally prosecuted on its own. The overwhelming majority of abortion is not due to rape. It's not due to incest. It's due to a woman gapping her legs and not having the money to take care of that baby with a nigga that won't be around to raise it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, women don't abort babies that they have by rich men, do they? Women only abort babies they have by broke niggas. Women only, and I'm talking about 9 out of 10 times. Not your one homegirl that was just frustrated at her lawyer husband. No, I'm talking about 9 out of 10 times. Women only abort babies they have by broke niggas. So if you want to solve abortion, put more money into the economy. Our sisters won't be getting abortions if the fellas got money to afford them goddamn babies. If she has money to afford them goddamn babies, it won't be no abortions. Or they'll be minimal. Why is abortion still taking up my political time? I pay taxes to this government so I can get good roads. I can get transit systems put together so we can get Social Security welfare for the people who are needy, so the handicapped can be taken care of, so the mentally disabled. We talking about abortions when we got all these people who are mentally ill and no mental hospital for them to go to. They got to go to jail. We got all these needs that Americans have and need. But we talking about abortion because you decided to gap your legs for a loser ass nigga. Stop fucking losers. Why is a woman fucking a loser ass nigga my political concern? And we talking about 85% of abortions. Yeah, you talking about controlling bodies to the same people that was forced to get vaccinated. It's not about controlling a woman's body. It's that you want to keep the black birth rate down and you want to import people to take those jobs because American corporations do not want Americans taking these jobs because Americans going to demand health care. We're going to demand an 8-hour work week. We're going to demand our lunch breaks. We're going to demand our raises. We ain't going to let you work us like slaves. And I'm talking about Americans of all colors. The minute a group of people have been here for 2 generations, they ain't going to allow that shit. A first-generation immigrant, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do with them corporations. You might be able to get their kids if they're an anchor baby. You might be able to get the anchor babies if you're a corporation. But when them anchor babies have kids, they kids ain't gonna take that bullshit. So you want to bring in immigrants for those jobs and have the Americans that are here abort their children. That's what you want. And you want to hide behind women who got raped. I don't like that because I spent 15 years working mental health. You know how many women I had to deal with who actually got raped? I got PTSD till this day dealing with boys and girls who've been raped. I have PTSD till this day dealing with women who have been victims of incest from a sorry ass father or a sorry ass uncle. They don't deserve to be your political shield. That's fucking wrong. And I have an issue with it. I thank God I've never been touched. Because I've dealt with so many people who have. I see the trauma on them. And for you to raise up their trauma so you can use abortion as birth control? Ladies, you got to do better. And stop having babies by these sorry ass niggas. And what's up with you sorry ass niggas anyway? Going back to, did y'all see that that thing Cam Newton was talking about, the football player? He has a lot of money, but he's talking about how he want to have a whole bunch of babies, but he don't want to get married. What kind of chicken shit is that, fellas? How you gonna have a baby with somebody but not want to marry them? At least if you get married, you can divorce a motherfucker and be done. Especially if you don't have kids with them. You can marry somebody and be like, this shit ain't working. Divorce. But if you have a kid with them, that shit's permanent. You're connected to this person anyway. What's up with you niggas trying to go around put babies in women you won't marry? If you don't want to marry her, God damn it, you stupid fuck. Having a baby with her is going to keep you with her. You tied down to that woman the rest of your monkey ass life, even if after that kid turned 18 because you had a baby. What the fuck is wrong with your thinking? Black man? I don't get it. If you marry her and don't have a kid, you can leave and be done. Didn't work out, I'm sorry. You have a baby with her, that's your bitch the rest of your life. And you calling yourself a player. I ain't gonna say it. 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 We gotta rethink this thing as a people. We gotta rethink this whole thing. We gotta rethink this whole thing. And the Democrats have been the main ones pushing us towards wayward thinking. When Deshaun said they bitch made OG. And the Democrats are pushing this bullshit. Say, right, you choose either way. She's yours and you're hers. The nigga said, God ain't done me, but yeah, see, that was this weekend celebration. A whole bunch of paid off niggas getting they comeuppance off of us. Malcolm X warned us about these kind of niggas. Let me put here. This is an excerpt from the biography of Malcolm X. Since slavery, the American white man has always kept some hand-picked Negroes who fared much better than the black masses suffering and slaving out in the hot fields. The white man had these house and yard Negroes for his special servants. He threw them more crumbs from his rich table. He even let them eat in his kitchen. He knew that he could always count on them to keep good massa happy in his self-image of being so good and righteous. Good massa always heard just what he wanted to hear from these house and yard blacks. You're such a good fine massa. Oh, massa, those old black nigger-filled hands out there, they're happy just like they are. Why, massa? They're not intelligent enough for you to try and do any better for them. That sounds like these niggas that be bragging about their bullshit ass degrees, don't it? Well, slavery's times house and yard Negroes had become more sophisticated. That was all. When now the white man picked up his telephone and dialed his house and yard Negroes, why? He didn't even need to instruct the trained black puppets. They had seen the television program, had read the newspaper. They were already composing their lines. They knew what to do. These are the kind of niggas that we had at the White House this past weekend. These are the people we hear in the background sounding like this.
It is so good to be back. And let me just say about Joe Biden, I have... Hello to all my Divine Nine brothers and sisters and my sorors. And to all my HBCU brothers and sisters. But let me just talk for a moment about Joe Biden.
Big goat mouth ass smile. They got theirs. What about the rest of us? That's why I love Michael Jackson so much. And rest in peace, Tito Jackson. Rest in peace, Tito Jackson. But Michael Jackson ain't the one that got his and went away. That's not what Michael Jackson did. Michael Jackson, when he got to the top, this is what Michael Jackson did. When Michael Jackson got to the top, this is what he did.
This crying earth, this weeping shore.
Michael Jackson asked about the rest of us. What about the sunrise?
What about rain?
This is the kind of black person I aspire to be. When I get to the top, write some music about the rest of us. Talk about, I know I'm rich. I know I'm not rich now. But we've had these examples of black people that have gotten to the top. And then when it got to the top, Michael Jackson put his career on the line. And he paid for it. He paid for it.
I can't even feel.
What about apathy? What about us? If Michael Jackson can ask, what about apathy? What about us? What about nature's worth? What about the world around us? What about our people? Michael Jackson got to the top. He's seen inside the veil, behind the veil. When Michael Jackson looked behind the veil and saw what was going on, he came back and told us this kind of black leadership I like. That's the kind of blackness I'm used to. Get to the top and come back and tell the rest of us, hey, I've been to the mountaintop. I'm telling the rest of y'all, they don't care about us. You didn't see him going out there saying, vote for Clinton because he's black. He said, oh, hell no. That's what Michael Jackson said when he got to the top. Who the fuck are you, ski week nigga? This is what Michael Jackson said when he got to the top. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Ski week nigga? I gotta get up out of here. I gotta get up out of here. Tomorrow we're gonna interview with Dr. Randy Short. Dr. Randy Short is gonna go in the further detail tomorrow what we talked about today. Dr. Short got some very, very, very interesting things that he wants us to talk about tomorrow. Some very important special news that he wants to disseminate with us. So you can only get that on Patreon. All right. So go to patreon.com/Dewan B. If you want to ask questions, go to the live interview lounge exclusive to ask questions, or just join any level of Patreon tomorrow today. And then we will get, we will interview Dr. Randy Short about more of what's going on. He got some special information to give us tomorrow on what's going on with this election. So you do not want to miss it, but it's too much for me to put on YouTube. Too much for me to put on YouTube. I cannot afford to have my channel take another 2-week long strike because of information that I'm giving out either directly to you guys or through Dr. Randy Short. So because YouTube likes to put my channel in jail and shit like that, I can't afford that risk anymore because I got to be smarter about being available for you guys on big stuff. So a lot of that stuff had to go over to Patreon, all right? Thank y'all again for listening. And at the end of the day, we all we got. Not a whole bunch of ski week niggas bragging about what they got for themselves without thinking about us. We got to stop being nice to these kind of niggas. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. All right? Remember I said, there are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Thank y'all again for listening. We out.